Warning. This video is about swears. Naturally, it will contain swears. If you're someone who doesn't want to listen to swears or be exposed to them, turn off your computer or smash it.
Fart here.
That's not how F-bombs are dropped, you idiot!
Oh, come on, Shake!
Oh, the fart it is, farter. Fart all y'all. Y'all go fart yourself.
Certain words are not inherently more offensive than other words. Indeed, words in general have no inherent meaning. There are somewhere between 171,000 and 750,000 words in the English language. The actual total can get a bit muddy because words are surprisingly difficult to count. For instance, dog can be a noun and a verb. Is that one word or two? Or what about hot dog? Are these different words, or are they just different spellings of the same word? Or what about the words for numbers? 1,246,000. There is a lot of ambiguity, but it is safe to say that there is somewhere between 171,000 and 750,000 words in the English language. Each of those hundreds of thousands of words have their own definition, their lexical interpretation, but they don't have any inherent interpretation. This can get a bit confusing, so stick with me. This is the lexical definition of cheese, and this is the first image returned from Google when I searched cheese. But when you hear the word cheese, you conjure up a unique image based on your experiences and the things that you've learned. But this combination of sounds doesn't mean anything without your mind to process it. A mind to give it a lexical definition, a mind to make its own associations around the word. The issue with swearing is when one group or individual's interpretation of a word is different from another group or individual's. One thinks it's innocuous, the other thinks it's offensive. I'm ignoring for the purposes of this video the possibility of someone using a word intentionally to be offensive, to insult somebody, or for comedic effect.
You're all a load of shote-bag fuskers, so prunk that up your prime-ministering pimhole.
Say, for example, that someone was mocked when they were younger. They were called an asshole, or they were raised to believe that assholes are the worst type of person. Some stranger calling them an asshole would make them feel very offended, whereas if you called that same person a mudak, they probably wouldn't react the same way, despite mudak meaning asshole in Russian. Part of what makes a word offensive is the listener's personal experience, and not necessarily what the word means. As always, there are some exceptions. A word's offensiveness is in some part individual, yes, but that individual perspective comes from several different things. It comes from previous experience, like we just talked about. It comes from the history of the word, like how the N-word was crafted to suppress and oppress an entire race of Africans forced into slavery by white people, or how the C-word is used by men to oppress women. The word's history and where it came from still matters. Another thing that affects the offensiveness of a word is the society and culture that you're in when you say it. The N-word is not as offensive in England, and the C-word isn't as offensive in Australia. Well, shit. How am I supposed to know what's going to offend somebody and what isn't? Well, it comes down to intention and context. If the KKK decided they were going to use the word orange instead of the N-word and they shouted it with the same intent, orange would then be offensive. With the same token, a woman in a trusting group of friends can use the C-word knowing that there's no malice intent behind it, and that makes it okay in that context. You shouldn't cuss like a sailor in a job interview, or call that preschooler a little shit to his face. But if you really want to make sure that you don't offend anybody, there are a couple schools of thought. You could resign to the fact that if you have an opinion and you share it with words, you're going to offend somebody eventually. Or you can go with the more popular answer. You could censor yourself. You could bleep out certain words or substitute them for less offensive ones. The problem with bleeping and substitution is that it's ineffective. Firstly, there are very few people who don't know what I'm saying when I say the F word or f***. I'm still saying it, the meaning is still there, you're still hearing it. You know I said f***. The cover-up is completely ineffectual, which leads me to my second problem with bleeping. It makes it more interesting and enticing for people who don't know what the F word is. Kids, they are now more interested in finding out what it means. I'll tell you kids, the F word is fuck. F F-U-C-K, and it's a magical word. It's a noun, verb, interjection, adjective, and adverb. It literally means to fornicate. And if you don't know what fornication is, ask your parents and be sure to subscribe. What? Anyway, I used to know this kid. He was my neighbor. And he had this list of words that he wasn't allowed to say, including all of the basic swear words and all of their substitutes. They also included some weird words, like he wasn't allowed to say evil. Now, regardless of why his parents decided to enforce such a stringent list on him, I would bet that as soon as he got out of earshot of his parents, he would just go through the list one by one. Shit, fuck, bitch, tits, hell, damn, God.
Stop cussing, because you're not good at it.
The point is, people can tell you not to swear, but it's your decision. People will get offended by things. They usually do.
He said raise.
He did say raise, Tony.
Raise is an anagram of arse.
But you decide how much that matters to you. Swearing is fun, and it should be enjoyed.
I looked this woman in the eye, I said, bitch.
It can relieve tension.
See what happens, Larry? You see what happens when you fuck a stranger there?
But swearing can be a crutch, too. You can find yourself using a swear to make something more severe when a completely different word might be better. What I'm trying to say is don't reflexively listen to what anybody says. Except this. Because it's telling you not to listen to other people, and it's good for you. Damn it! Shit fuck! I was trying to make a point. To doing end screens outside. Thank you for watching. You can subscribe or support me on Patreon. I'll see you next week.